move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Hi, we're Kira, Carly,
and Jackie, and welcome to our presentation on a variety of assessments that could be used in a high school dance unit in physical education class. Dance education is a crucial component of a comprehensive education for all students.
During this unit, students will be learning about the background of dance, various creative dance movements, elements of dance, varieties of line dances, how to follow a dance instructor, put together a dance sequence, synchronize movements with music, and work together with their partners in their groups. The purpose of this iMovie is to discuss ways to use different forms of assessment in the 4 different domains in a high school dance unit. The overall purpose of assessment is to hold students accountable for reaching objectives while improving students' learning and teachers' teaching.
This unit will be taught using a guided discovery technique, which is used to encourage student creativity and can be used to foster teamwork between students. Guided discovery encourages students to try different things, be leaders, and teaches them to work together and value a variety of inputs and compromise.
These are the National Association for Sport and Physical Education standards that will be met in this unit.
Big ideas are concepts that students can transfer from the classroom into their everyday lives. The big ideas for this unit are: dance gives students a way to express themselves through music and body movements. Line dance helps students synchronize their movements with other people of the group. Dance is a way for students to perform aerobic exercise. Dance can be used in various social settings throughout different points of life.
For this unit, our students should meet goals that act as objectives in which measure their learning in each of the 4 domains. The first is for the cognitive domain, which is student thought processes. The students will be able to demonstrate decision-making skills by putting together a sequence of dance steps that flow and tell a story using 10 different dance elements. The next unit goal is for the affective domain, which taps into the student feelings and emotions about an activity. The students will be able to cooperate with their partners or groups by agreeing on a sequence or song during the construction of their dance. Next is for the fitness domain, which is students' ability to perform tasks while relying on their physical fitness. Students will be able to perform their dance for the full length of their selected song while relying on their cardiovascular endurance. They will also be learning how to use heart rate monitors in order to track their cardiovascular endurance and see improvements. The final unit goal is for the psychomotor domain, which is students' ability to perform a physical task. The students will be able to perform a dance sequence that includes all 10 required dance elements. This is the first week of our 15-day unit block plan. This week focuses on introductory information and introducing and exploring a very new subject to students. Here are week 1's day-to-day objectives.
Day 3 will include the instruction and overview of both the Macarena and the Cupid Shuffle. Students will be instructed on how to do the dance and will be given practice time within the class to get the dance down. At the end of the class, students will participate in a dance of their choice, where the teacher will give students a check minus, check, or check plus on their ability to perform the dance. Students will begin class with an overview of the Cupid Shuffle. They will then rate themselves on a scale from 1 to 10 on their ability to stay on the beat to the Cupid Shuffle. Next, they will move to instruction and overview of both the electric slide and the cha-cha slide. Here, students are dancing to the electric slide.
Students will be working with a guest Zumba instructor who will come in to teach a full Zumba class. This lesson is to demonstrate to students how dance can be beneficial to their health outside of class and can be used as aerobic exercise. Students will perform a self-fitness assessment where they will take down their heart rate before, during, and after the assessment. The students will fill out a self-assessment in which they do the calculations to prove that they reached a heart rate between 60 and 80% of their full effort. If they reach this goal, then they have obtained the objective for the day. This is a valid and reliable assessment because we will be using heart rate monitors that are specifically designed to take the heart rate of people during and after exercise. Here is a photo of a method of taking heart rate. This is an assessment for learning. The purpose of this assessment is for students to recognize how much their heart rate rises after performing dance where they are being physically challenged to perform at a high level. The purpose of the calculations are so students can see what their 60-80% effort level looks like so they can judge how hard they are trying and how their body is reacting to the exercise they are doing. If they reach the goal, then we can conclude that the students are putting in enough effort into the dance unit. If they do not reach the goal, then we can conclude that we need to add more upbeat tempo and dance moves to get the students moving and more involved. If the students have heart rates that are higher than 80% of their maximal effort, that is also acceptable as long as the students get the knowledge that allows them to get back to a normal breathing pattern in a certain amount of time. 60-80% is simply the ideal goal to reach for.
Week 2 includes students exploring creative dance in the introduction to students' final project for the unit, in which they will be creating their own line dance in a group. Students will be provided with a good portion of the week to begin the creative process of constructing their dance. They will be provided with 10 cue cards of different dance elements that they must include in their dance. Here are the day-to-day objectives for week 2. Day 8 will be students' introduction into their final project for the unit. Students will be split up into equal groups where they will have to create their own line dance using a variety of 10 cue cards with various dance elements on them. Students will record their group members' names and their 10 dance elements for a ticket to leave. Day 9 is a group work day for the final project. Students will be able to brainstorm and organize their dance elements as well as pick out the music that they will perform their dance to. Students will journal their thoughts and experiences on the difference between coming up with dances themselves and being taught a dance by a teacher or instructor.
Week 3 will consist of practicing dance skills, finalizing the last components of the final event, and being tested on their ability to show that they have met the cognitive and psychomotor domain objectives. Here are Week 3's day-to-day objectives.
Students are going to learn the dances, the wobble, and juju on that beat today. Since they have had plenty of time to practice their dance skills while staying on beat and performing the correct steps, they will be assessed by a peer on these categories to a song of their choice that they feel most comfortable and confident dancing to. Here's a video of Logan assessing Kira on her ability to perform the correct steps to the correct beat of the Cupid Shuffle. Logan is assessing on a rating scale of 4 to 1, 4 being the best and 1 being the worst, on Kira's ability to stay on beat and perform the correct steps. This is an assessment for learning because it is the process for learning how to stay on beat consistently so that they can perfect it for their culminating event. This assessment is valid but not the most reliable since it is a peer assessment and the scale might not be followed to the standards a teacher would follow it. We want the students to get at least a 3 on each of the categories, assuming that it is getting towards the end of the unit and they should be improving on these aspects by this point. If the student gets below a 3 on either of the assessments, then the student needs to get help by either a peer or the teacher and figure out what the issue is before they have to perform their dance in front of the entire class.
Students will learn the boot scoot and boogie line dance during class. After they have practiced and got it down, students will be videotaped while they are doing the dance and asked to watch themselves afterwards and assess themselves on their rhythm and remembering the steps.
Today, students will be completing a cognitive formal summative assessment through Plickers. The questions appear on the projector, and the students use their Plickers cards by turning it to the appropriate letter and showing it to the teacher, who will scan it with their iPad and see their answer privately. The Plickers application gives teachers all of the information and data about the question that are useful to know. This is an assessment of learning because it is almost the final day of the unit and they are responsible for knowing all of the information about the dance at this point because we have gone over and practiced it every day for the past 3 weeks. By this point, the students should know our expectations and should have come to us for help before the exam day. This test is valid and reliable because the questions are fair and have all been seen before. All of the students are getting the same questions and it is set up in a less intimidating format because they are not given a long written exam. We expect that every student will get at least 16 out of 20 questions correct, resulting in 80%. If the students receive 80% or above, then we can conclude that the students used the formative assessments to improve their psychomotor and cognitive dancing abilities. If the students do not reach this desired outcome, we can conclude that the student struggled in some aspect along the way and did not improve before the end of the unit, or our assessments were not as effective as we had expected. If this is the case, as teachers, we will change our assessments to accommodate a variety of learners with different strengths and weaknesses.
Students will be performing the final product of their dance today. When they are not performing, they will be filling out an affective peer assessment for the other groups they are watching and writing 3 aspects of their dance that they enjoyed or noticed.
Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. At the house on you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not?
This unit is important because dance has other outside benefits besides in the classroom. Dance is known to make students work hard and focus more, reduce stress and tension on the mind and body, and increase their muscular and cardiovascular strength, endurance, and motor fitness. Assessment is important for students, teachers, programs, and PE across the U.S. because it shows the students are reaching the competence levels, and if not, what the teachers can do to improve their lessons and programs for future classes and students.